Hi everybody, I'm Giuliano and I'm a research technologist at the Council for Agricultural Research of Italy. This webinar has been divided into three parts. This is the first part, about from buffalo milk to mozzarella cheese. My job is usually to design and carry out research and experimentation in the dairy sector about the dairy products from the species reared in Italy, that is buffalo, sheep, goats and cow. My colleagues and I work alongside the dairy in the search for solutions in process and product innovation. We work together with cheesemakers to find solutions for some problems that they might verify during cheesemaking, during the ripening and aging of cheese. And we work to produce innovations in the processing and other products. My colleague and I, in the past years, we worked on several projects, some which are, for example, decrease the salt content in pecorino romano cheese, that is a hard cheese from equus milk, improving some equus pasta filata cheeses, increase the shelf life of ricotta cheese from buffalo whey, investigation of the quality of buffalo mozzarella made with some different technologies production. So now we are speaking about conversion of the buffalo milk into cheese, especially into mozzarella cheese. Here we can see that in 2019 Italy is sixth in the world in the production of whole fresh buffalo milk, with 250,000 tons. Since 2014, Italy is whole fresh buffalo milk production grew 5.1% year on year. The difference between Italy and other countries is that in Italy, the milk is used only for cheese or dairy products and nothing for liquid milk. In this graphic, we can see some data regarding the production of milk buffalo only in Italy from 1990 to today. It can see how it has changed the number of heads of buffalo reared, and also we can see how it increased the amount of milk produced. The increase in milk yield is due to an increase in the milk produced per head. Instead, fat content decreased due to the dilution effect, while protein content increased slightly, fluctuating in the last years around 4.6%. Then, in general, the milk yield improves. This table shows how the situation changed in the last 10 years in Italy. The average milk yield per head increased. The average fat and protein content decreased. Furthermore, it can be possible to see the increase of heads that underwent milk checks. Concerning total animals, and that is a good thing because it means that the breeders paid more attention to improving rearing and management. When we compare buffalo milk with cow milk, we can see immediately the differences. In this table there are the average contents of fat and protein and the milk yield per head. Buffaloes produce less than cows, but buffalo milk contains more fat and protein. Moreover, also fat-protein ration is different. It is higher in buffaloes than in cows. This affects the cheese-making ability and the cheese-making yield, and it might affect also the composition of the cheese. In this recent paper, the authors choose 6 dairy species because they represent the total world milk production with this distribution. The authors compared the composition and the cheese-making ability of milk sampled from lactating females of these 6 dairy species: cattle, buffaloes, goats, sheep. As we saw in the previous slide, buffalo milk contains more substances. When it talks about cheese-making ability, protein is the more important parameter, and among proteins of milk, casein is the real responsible. We are going to see how different casein content of the 6 kinds of milk affect cheese making ability, and it's very important also fat content, especially the protein fat ratio. While lactose content is basic in cheese making, it is an important presence for bacterial growth and is in all kinds of milk with slight differences, but these differences do not affect cheese making ability. This graph shows the aptitude for cheese making of milk of the 6 species object of this study. In the abscissa axis, there is the elapsed time after the addition of rennet. In the ordinate axis, there is the progress of the firmness of the cloth. This part represents the time between the rennet addition of the start of gelation. This line represents curd firmness at 30, 45 and 60 minutes after rennet addition. Some years ago, these authors proposed an equation after the study of many cheese making to evaluate mozzarella cheese yield by milk composition. I would like to highlight that the greatest weight was attributed to protein content, because when the protein network is formed during cheese making, it incorporates part of the fat of the milk. In the table, there is an example calculated by the equation on data of average milk composition in Italy in the 2 different years. Instead, the composition of the 2 kinds of mozzarella cheese, buffalo and cow, it seems that does not differ much. Fat-protein ratio affects over the yield of cheese making, melting and stretching properties of curd and cheese texture. From a higher protein content, curd can contain more fat and water, which can make cheese softer and tastier. Here there is, for example, the application of the equation of the estimated yield. In the previous slide, we saw that the composition of the 2 kinds of mozzarella is not very different, but we find the biggest difference in the yield. The cheese yield of buffalo milk is higher, almost double, than that of cow's milk. from 100 liters of milk, we can obtain 24 kilograms for the buffalo versus 13 for the cow. 100% of Italian buffalo milk is used for cheese production. Buffalo mozzarella is the cheese most produced from buffalo milk. About 66% of the Italian buffalo milk is used for mozzarella di bufala campana PDO, the remainder for the non-PDO buffalo mozzarella. PDO, protected designation of origin mark, is a geographical origin indication defined in European Union law to protect the names of regional fruits. The legislation came into force in 1992 and protects the names of wine, cheese, olive oil, beer, and vegetables. The protected designation of origin is used for some products that it wants to protect. To be granted the PDO status, the product must have been long manufactured in the area of origin and it must have unique properties. Here we can see the characteristics that milk, processing, and mozzarella must have to be called mozzarella di bufala campana PDO. There's characteristics of milk, of treatment of milk, and treatment of mozzarella. Mozzarella is a soft and fresh cheese that belongs to pasta filata cheese. The most popular and famous mozzarella in the world is that from cow milk because it makes in great quantity in the USA and it is utilized mainly for pizza. But it is different from that most eaten in Italy because it is often low moisture mozzarella and it often produced from party skim milk. In this slide we can see two schemes. On the left, the one to produce a non-pasta filata, no stretched cured cheese, and on the right, the one for producing pasta filata cheese. To produce non-pasta filata cheese, the curd undergoes some treatments such as heating, pressing, stewing, and so on. While to produce pasta filata cheeses, it is necessary to acidify curd at the correct value of pH. This is the main difference, but there are also treatments such as stretching the curd with hot water. The main difference between a pasta filata cheese and a no pasta filata cheese is briefly shown here. In a pasta filata cheese, the curd needs the right acidification. Here, there is a summary of the process to obtain mozzarella cheese that we will see quickly or one by one in the next slides. We can divide the mozzarella cheese making process into three main phases: the treatment of the milk, the treatment of the curd, and the treatment of mozzarella. By milk treatment, it means that it needs to do at milk before the coagulation by rennet addition, head treatment, and starter addition. By curd treatment, it means that the operation to do on the curd to get mozzarella cheese. By mozzarella treatment, it means how to handle the cheese, sorting, packaging and storage of mozzarella. The first part ends here.